Welcome to the Zen AF Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Julia Garcia Devaney. I'm a life and mindset coach for female founders, and my mission is to help thousands of ambitious, busy women become the number one asset in their life and business. Tune in as I share with you the behind the scenes of my own ambitious journey and help you bring the Zen back into your hustle so you can create the impact you desire and truly love your own ambitious journey as well. Welcome, and let's get into the episode. Hey, my ambitious babes. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? Okay, so it's Monday. I got my coffee. And I have something on my heart that I want to talk to you guys about. Like, TikTok's really got me in a little bit of a chokehold. I seem to be coming back to and being drawn to these conversations about having a soft life and stuff. And I sat down to write this or just jot down an outline for this episode. And I'm like, wait, soft life is really just an AF life. Like, this is the concept I developed many, many years ago. This is what got me out of survival mode and into the life that I have created now. So soft life was really just a way to get into a real good feminine energy, tap into that feminine energy, and also create everything that you want, because the feminine energy is a creative energy. So what I want to share with you guys today is really, what is a soft life? I'm going to answer that question, because I took some time to do a little bit of research on what the consensus is out there, because it's basically a made up term, and also how to tap into it, and not just how to tap into it, but like how to tap into it as an ambitious woman, right? Because sometimes when we hear people say soft life, we're probably like, how does that work when I'm ambitious AF, right? Essentially, I'm going to share with you guys what I did. The first thing I want to do for you is kind of define what a soft life is. And soft life, from the consensus of TikToks and like my own consensus, is just more of a feminine, flowy life, right? One that doesn't have a lot of that survival mode in it. It is more, your nervous system is just a little bit more regulated. Your mind is a little bit calmer. You are working and healing your inner self. And I guess I can't talk about what it is without talking also about what it's not, because again, I feel like what is out there right now is that a soft life is when you have other people do things for you, which it could be, right? Everybody thinks that you have to have wealth in order to have a soft life, which it would help. What wouldn't it help, right? And they also think it's like, just being like a kept woman, meaning your man does everything for you, pays everything for you, like supports you and things like that. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, or if you feel like there's another definition out there that is being thrown out there. But I don't think that that's exactly what a soft life is. The other thing that I also have heard, because and I came up on it accidentally talking to my mother-in-law, actually, who, she's super cute. She has this really little cottage kind of type house in Toronto. And she has this big backyard, which is basically a forest. So she just spends a lot of her time now, gardening and cooking and painting, because she's like a really good artist. And she said how she was reading something that Martha Stewart said. And I was kind of thinking like, oh, you're in your Martha Stewart era. Well, she had mentioned that Martha Stewart had mentioned that she's in her slow life, which that's so much different, right? Because slow life is when you are not really in the pursuit of anything. You are literally just being and creating and doing for the sake of doing. But there's no drive there, right? So it's like a slow life. Like, there's no urgency to get anywhere or do anything or achieve anything. So I want to highlight that for any of you who might think like, oh, I can't be an ambitious woman and have a soft life. Well, it's not true. And I actually would say, because I've thought about this many times, trust me, I could do a whole episode on this, and I probably will, in regards to just being a woman with ambition. And just realizing, I think about this often. You guys know that, because I'm an ambitious person. I love doing things. I love creating things. I love having my business. And then I also love prioritizing my family. And I'm always thinking about those two concepts essentially, and my values and how they come together or conflict or whatever. I'm always having awareness around those two things. And what I realize, when I think about like, oh, well, then maybe I should just, sometimes I think maybe I should just wait until later and really pursue this hard when I don't have kids, or when they're not like so little or whatever. And I always, it just never, when I go down that route, right, and I answer those questions for myself, there's just never really a right time, I would say. Like, it just always turns out that there's never really a right time. It's now that I have this drive. It's now that I have these desires. It's now that I have this ambition. And those things don't always wait, right? They don't always wait. Even though I know that there's many people that have become successful later on in their years. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what is in my heart at this very moment, and the energy I have at this very moment for the things that I have. And this is what it is. Like, I want to create what I'm creating currently right now. And I always just kind of double check that it's not conflicting my other values, right? Which is mostly just the time spent with my family. So again, I could talk about a whole nother episode on this. I know I will, because I want to talk about how to have no regrets. But if you think about it in terms of slow life versus soft life, when you're slow life, like, you're usually older, you've done everything, you don't got nothing else to prove. You have nothing else to really like do, like, especially like, in the situation of my in-laws and stuff like that. They just living their little slow, happy life, right? Like, they do what they do, and they just want to spend time with their grandkids now. And like, that's it. Like, it's a nice little slow life. They don't need anything fancy or need to be in the pursuit of anything to prove anything to anybody. So if right now you have a natural desire to do more, be more, have more, then I see nothing wrong with that. And you can still have a soft life. And this is essentially how I did it. Right? I was a bottle service waitress. I was in that survival mode. I was, wanting to create something different for myself, a different life for myself. I started, if you guys know my story, I started just really focusing on myself, and I didn't know it at the time, but it was cultivating more of a soft life for myself. And these are the 4 things that I said that would help you get a soft life, or achieve a soft life, embody that soft life, even as an ambitious woman. And the first thing that came to mind for me was to receive support. All support. Anything that you can get your hands on, receive it, receive it, receive it, receive it. Any way that you can ask for help and receive that help, then do that. This one was a tricky one for me, especially in the industry that I was in. I was in as a lot of you guys know, I was in the bottle service industry. We were really sexualized and stuff like that. Nobody really saw me as anything other than a bottle service girl, right? Like, you just have all these stereotypes and misconceptions about, the job that I have. I mean, and a lot of people do. Like, if you want to know how somebody's character is, like, see how they treat, servers. But, and I was not exempt from that. Like, it was really hard to find mentors during that time, people that would see me anything other than just a bottle service waitress, or even just saw some kind of potential in me, was very difficult. And I would cry quite often when I would think that, like, somebody was willing to help me or to guide me or something like that. But, and they actually just wanted something in return. They wanted to date me, or, whatever. They wanted something in return. There's no such thing as a free lunch, as we have all learned in Econ 101. But instead of getting super frustrated, well, I did get frustrated early on, but instead of letting myself keep getting frustrated, I just kind of accepted, everything for what it is, people for who they were. And I accepted the reality that it is likely nobody's going to take me seriously, and that's okay. It is likely that they're always going to want something in return, and that's okay. The key for me was to just know that, accept that, prepare for that, so that I could always have that leg up. I could get the support and help that I needed in terms of information, contacts, like whatever. and, just make sure I scooted out of there just in time, right? And, because I realized like if they were going to try to use me, right, then I was definitely going to try to use them as well before they used me. This might sound a little rough, but I was in a very rough, toxic environment. And this was the only way I kind of found to protect myself, right? I always had a good heart. I always had great intentions. But as soon as I saw that anything got too much, then I would just abandon ship. But truthfully, like that hardly ever happened, right? It only happened like very early on in my little bottle service career when because I was trying to pursue something else other than that career for like ever since I got into it, right? The only reason I got into it was because of, just surviving in the middle of a recession in the US. So, but if I could, I would receive all the support I needed, like in order to move somewhere, in order to find a place, in order to find a job, in order to like whatever connections I could get, whatever help I could get, I would ask for it. I would receive it, no problem. And, and I would, I would say that, a lot of the girls in that industry were really good at, asking for and receiving help. And there were just some boundaries I was not willing to cross. So I feel like I never lost my integrity, and I can sleep well now knowing that. So what I'm saying is if you do ask for help and receive that help, just make sure that everybody's intentions involved, and that you are not, putting out or receiving more than you're putting out into this world, right? Like you have to still balance out that energy, right? So you have to be working on yourself, doing the things that you are trying to do and putting forth energy out into this world, not just taking. The more that you're able to receive whatever it is the more you're able to communicate to the universe, to yourself, that there is a natural flow of energy that you receive and you give, and you receive and you give. And that is the natural state of abundance, essentially, and flow and ease, right? So if at any point that energy is misaligned, right, you're going to have those feelings of misalignment, and they can manifest in many different ways. So that's, I guess, the caveat. Make sure that you receive, but also make sure that you are putting out energy into this world. You're putting out value into this world. The second thing that I did is that I really, like I have mentioned many times before and advocate so much for, is I really practiced that self-care, right? Really learned how to regulate my nervous system, take care of my body, take care of my mind, take care of myself, journal, read, walk, in nature, be in nature, just have that time with myself, to cultivate a relationship with myself, to love myself, to trust myself, to say that I'm going to do the things that I'm going to do within this self-care routines and rituals. So really just honoring myself, practicing love for myself. Oh my God, my favorite thing I used to do is I used to just take a bubble bath, listen to the newest album that's out, whether it was like Frank Ocean or J. Cole, from, front to, or like to beginning to end, have a pizza and wine literally in my bathtub, and I would just vibe out. Like, having those moments with myself are something that I look back on so fondly, where I was just having this relationship with myself and just caring for myself in so many different ways. Again, whether it's exercising or reading, or like whatever it was, or just vibing out myself with some pizza and some good music, right? Anything that helped me feed my mind, feed my body, feed my soul, right, was something that I really prioritized every moment that I was not at work. Let's just say that. There's nothing better than self-care for getting into that feminine flow, that feminine energy, because you just feel like you're just more in tune with yourself. The more in tune with yourself you are, then the more feminine you are as well, right? Because you have a calm mind, a calm body, you are regulating that nervous system with these self-care rituals, and you're just calm, you're just at ease. That allows you to like really access your intuition and cultivate that self-trust and self-love to act on that intuition addiction as well. So this is why I really advocate so much for self-care. It is a foundational thing for everyone, more, just as important as your personal growth, your soul growth, also your self growth, needs in terms of your relationship with yourself, also needs that attention. And this is 100% one of the best ways and easiest ways to really start cultivating that soft life. Like, for instance, back to the bubble baths, like there's nothing that says F you more to what society deems as productive or important than just sitting and being, right? Like in a tub on your meditation pillow, just like the art of doing absolutely nothing. And it has so many benefits for your mind, for what it's communicating to yourself and to the universe. There's like nuances there, energetic nuances there that are really go undervalued, because people think it's just, a skincare routine or it's just a bubble bath. And I hate that people shit on bubble baths so much, because again, like if you don't have two kids, and a household to run and a business to run, and also like nobody knows more than that woman how rebellious a bubble bath is, to just sit and do nothing and just shut the door and soak in bubbles. Like, no, that is absolutely 110% self-care, right? Obviously we tend to our minds as well, which is the next thing that I'm going to mention, but that's within this component as well, right? Because there's so much that could be beneficial to our minds and the way we think and the beliefs that we have about ourselves that could be in that self-care component as well. So yeah, the third thing would be work on your mindset, right? Just believing more in yourself, really cultivating that self-trust, and minimizing those voices of self-doubt, of criticism, of comparison, just starting to turn the knob down, the volume down with those voices, and turning up all the voices of, potential for yourself, right? So really managing your mind, managing your emotions, processing your emotions is super, super important in developing a soft life. Like I think the next episode, I really want to focus on, how to cultivate a soft life within a relationship, because it is something that I feel like I have been able to, it's really tricky for me to like start talking about life stuff because by no means do I think I have it all figured out, but I do know some things. I have, enough lived experience, and I have studied this stuff for like absolutely like years, thousands and thousands of hours and thousands of dollars. And not just that, but I apply it to my own life. That's just who I am. And so I think I do have a lot to share on that. And I think that a lot of especially some of my girlfriends that are now getting into relationships, and they still are ambitious women. They're like, wait, how are you doing this? Like, you are with such a masculine man. Like, how are you doing this? Right. So I think that I have something to share there, and I'll share it maybe in the next episode. But I will share that, being able to manage my thoughts and process my emotions was probably one of the number one things that my husband was attracted to. And he was just like, oh, this is the one, because I've never seen anybody do this with so much expertise almost. And he was just really impressed. I mean, little did he know I was just like a personal development nerd, and, I was constantly watching my emotions, constantly watching my thoughts. I wanted to, I was from the school of manifestation, like from like Abraham Hicks. And so I was always, watching those things and monitoring those things and trying to get better at just having better thoughts and thinking better things, and especially about myself, right? Because I was pretty much riddled with self-doubt for so much of my life, from that early programming, being born into a toxic masculine culture that essentially said that girls don't have as much worth as boys, let's just say that, and don't have a lot of expectations for me and things like that. So there was a lot of those narratives that I had to kind of overcome, and there's still things that come up, on a daily basis because our minds are just negatively biased that, I still have to manage and just say, and just realize like not everything that comes through your brain is true, right? You start realizing the more you practice that self-care, the more you start strengthening that awareness muscle and detaching yourself of like from your thoughts and your emotions, and just be, in order to be like an observer and a responder to those thoughts and emotions, and really just see how they're working for you and not against you. Like that is one of the best skills you could possibly develop in your life, and which is like obviously why I do what I do, and I try to help you guys do the same. But it's a practice. It's why I developed the app and the membership, because I want to be in there helping you guys really cultivate that on a daily basis. And the only way to do that is really through a membership, right? Where it's accessible price wise, and it's just a daily thing. You never are done with mindset. There's always new levels, babe. There's always new levels. And even when you think that you've taken some care of something on one level, at the next level, it appears a little bit differently. And you have to trust yourself that you can manage it as well. So yeah, focus on your mindset, focus on managing those thoughts, right? Really cultivating that self, really understanding and seeing your own potential, and, just feeding love into yourself, positive words into yourself, and really overcoming any of those thoughts of doubt, right? And which is why the last thing I put here, which is probably one of the number one tools that I would recommend for anyone and for everything, which is, practice gratitude, be grateful for it all. The more you can do this, like the more you will achieve a soft life, right? The more that you can just, again, because it's like when you're grateful for all of it, right? If you're grateful for the good and the bad, like just think about it. Nothing can really like hurt you in a sense. Like you are soft, like you are like you are buoyant. It'll like just bounce off of you, whatever life throws at you is going to just bounce right off of you because you are soft, right? You're not like this hard wall, because you can genuinely see how everything is working out for you. This kind of has that lucky girl syndrome that also got popularized on the TikToks. And really all it is just practicing gratitude for all of it, and really seeing how all of it, staying out of victim mentality and seeing how all of it is working for you instead of against you. I can't explain how key this is. Like it will absolutely transform your life. The more that you can see challenges as a way of, it's cultivating who you are trying to become, the characteristics that you need to have, the boundaries, the standards, all those things, just by, letting life, come as it comes, and letting it teach you what it needs to teach you in order to become the person that you need to become. You can be grateful for it all. Only the people that, live in that victim mentality habitually will always say like, oh, this happened to me, and then I can't do this because of that, and like, there's always an excuse, there's always a deflection, instead of just saying, I'm here to take it all, I'm here to absorb it all and put it back out into this world better than how I got it, right? That's what a feminine energy does, right? We create things that are better. Like men give those sperms, we give them babies. They give us a home, we give houses, we give them a home. Like we just take whatever it is and we create something more beautiful, better, bigger, grander, right? More like divine than anything else. So gratitude is the perfect tool to do just that. Like on your ambitious journey, if you could get to the point, right? Everybody knows, I mean, not everybody, but if you're on your entrepreneurial journey, let's say, and you are coming up against problems, as you will, if you are on any kind of journey, right? You're on your weight loss journey, you're on your, personal development, healing journey, whatever it is, you're going to face challenges. You're going to face challenges because that's just what's going to happen. Like there's no way around that. Okay. it's just going to happen. So when you can see problems and challenges as an opportunity, that means that you are grateful, right? You're like, what? I have the opportunity to be who I said I wanted to be right here, right now. It feels shitty and it sucks and it's hard, but I know I could do this because I said I wanted to do this and be this person and have these skills. Anything that can come up in terms of challenges can be something that you are grateful for. And when that happens, then there's just not, you can't lose. You can't lose because you'll never quit, because there's nothing that's going to come at you that you're going to be like, you know what, actually, this is too much. I don't think this is for me. I can't, I'm not going to be able to do it because this is just happening to me too much. Gratitude is going to be one of your best tools to that soft life, right? Because when you are just living in a state of gratitude, things are going to magnetize to you. I mean, like, that's the whole feminine vibe, right? Things are just going to come to you in the most beautiful ways. And the more you are grateful for, the more you get and expand the things that you are grateful for. And guess what? The more you find that this journey can be easy, the easier this journey will be, because you're just like grateful for the ease of it. You already think that it's easy. But the more you think it's hard, then the harder it'll be. The more resistance you're going to come up against, the more you're going to have to fight to think that it's, the right thing or the easy thing or whatever, instead of just feeling gratitude for it all and having like a nice easeful journey, right, towards whatever it is that you want, or really just life in general. So notice how these 4 different points, none of it was like sit there and do nothing. Actually, when you sit and do nothing, you're sitting and doing everything, which means that you are cultivating the right intention, the right nervous system, the right thoughts in order to go out and create action, right? So it doesn't mean that it's going to, that your ambition is going to subside now that you're in the soft life. Not at all. It just means that now you get to do it and from a place of calm, of confidence, of certainty, which is really the goal of my whole brand, Get Zen AF. And I would love for this next episode to really show you guys how I do this, not just as an ambitious woman, but as a mom and a wife in relationship, because that's like something that I feel like a lot of people are also struggling with. It's like, it's easy sometimes to do things on your own, right? Like, everybody wants the relationship, they want the motherhood and like whatever, but they don't understand that that's that next level. Like, you have to have these foundations first. Like, you have to be able to do this for yourself first. And then when that time comes that you get to share your life with other people, you will have hopefully cultivated some of those internal skill sets that allows you to have successful relationships as well, because those relationships are going to be mirrors to the things that you are still needing to evolve into, and so on and so forth, because that's just like the journey that we're all on as human beings. Like, we just, our souls really just, you have to subscribe to this, right? Like, that we are evolving human beings. But we are like biologically, right? But ultimately, if you're on this journey of personal growth and you want to like kind of have, of just more out of life, right? Which is totally fine. Then you're going to have to also accept that, it's going to evolve. And, just because you have been able to do maybe these 4 points as an ambitious woman, it's still, there's still more to come when you become, when you get into a relationship, because it's just harder. I hate to put it that way, but it's like, it's another level, babe. It's just another level. And you have somebody there. It was really fun and nice when I was able to just sit in my bubble bath and eat pizza and drink wine and listen to a whole album from beginning to end. And then there's now that doesn't get to happen. And I have, people reflecting back to me all of my triggers, all of my things, right? All of my whatever insecurities, all of my, younger self, inner child, wounds, and like whatever, all that stuff. It's all that fun stuff that you get to look at. So how do you remain soft in your soft life era? Even when you get into motherhood and wifey life, well, I'll let you know in the next episode. But for now, these are some of the foundations. Receive that support, right? Or ask for and receive that support, because that's a really key thing, especially when you get into that wifey life. Practice self-care, focus on your mindset, and be grateful for it all. I really would love to see how this helped you guys in any way. Tag me at Julia Garcia Devaney. And if you are ready to get into your Zen AF life, right, your Zen AF era, then I would love to see you inside the Get Zen AF app. You're able to download that from your app store or Google Play. All right, love you guys. See you soon. Thanks for listening, Ambitious Babe. If you loved this episode, take a screenshot and share your favorite takeaways with me at Julia Garcia Devaney, and be sure to leave us a review, as that would mean so much. And if you're ready to put the Zen back into your hustle and love your ambitious journey, be sure to download the Get Zen AF app, where you'll learn to prioritize yourself and truly become the number one asset in your life and business. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. Check out the links in the show notes, and I'll see you inside.